guys, it's Jacob from StringBuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site, links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Animal Collective, and that's Kinda Bonkers. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So going into this track, I can't say I'm too familiar with Animal Collective and or their discography / material, whatever you want to call it. But with the massive influx of experimental music we are receiving as of late over the last 2 years or so, what better time than now is there to review this brand new track? So shall we see what I thought of it? Well, even though I'm a massive fan of both ambient and worldly music, this track really is just a mess in my opinion. When you compare it to the professionality and innovation of some acts like Nordic Giants and Breathe, this track just comes across like a really rushed art project. Now there are some great ideas in here and elements as well that very nearly do work for me, but it's completely marred by a lack of concentration of the fundamentals and basics of recording and just producing a track. Now I don't know how this compares to other music that they may have made already, but this really didn't do it for me in any way, and I'm not really encouraged to listen to more of their material, whatever you want to call it. Production wise, the song is an absolute catastrophe in my opinion. Everything sounds so trebly and abrasive, lacking any substance or depth to it, that it pierces your ears instead of filling the stereo field properly. The percussion doesn't glisten or add impact like it should do, but rather is gutless and comes across as white noise in the background, something which I really don't want to be saying about the drums. The vocals have been dual-panned in a manner that makes them overtly cloudy, meaning they overlap and lose diction multiple times throughout the song, sometimes even in the same sentence, so it was a miracle that I could even work out what they were trying to say when singing, let alone the notes that were actually being attempted. The rest of the instrumentation fights against each other, which it shouldn't do, with these weird unequalized timbres battling for dominance in the mix, in the texture as well, again leaving the track very abrasive and sharp sounding. It's just not very clean, and I think for an experimental track in this vein, a worldly type track, it needs to be much cleaner than this regardless of what you're trying to go for. When it comes to the musicality of this track, sure, I can admit I really do respect their choices and what they were trying to do here with this song, but it just hasn't been executed very well at all, at least not for a professional production. The tablas and Indian percussion they used created a fairly fun and quirky beat for everything to really form over, but they were nowhere near bassy enough to carry the low end, yet that's all that seems to be stuck down there, as there was no real other bass. Again, that's just down to poor production, a poor production cycle, and just rejecting the bass at all. And I mean, you need that pulse, especially in experimental music, because the pulse is a quirky thing which you keep trying to keep on top of, and and it should be an interesting aspect of your song, but here it was just completely lost and all over the place. As for whatever was meant to be taking up the mid-ground, I really could barely make out what was really being sang, what was being played, and everything just sounded so cutting, and that's due to the cutting production in the background, which should have been bassy, so everything just sounded, like I said earlier, abrasive. Everything is just so loud and brash and rough, yet nothing sounds compressed or equalized. I mean, sure, I do like my production and instrumentation organic, but this sounds like it's been recorded in like a toilet. I did like the progressions which were being used, I did like the timing of the beat, I did like the exploratory song form and the things they tried to flesh out, but everything else has just been done without focus and classiness. Lyrically, the song was really difficult to follow, which is both a good thing and a bad one. At times it's eccentric and kind of wonderful really, and really showcasing their personalities as a group, and at others it's almost undecipherable, and maybe even a little bit pretentious. When you pair that with the slurred and sloppy vocal performance, which really was quite poor in my opinion, it just equals a really difficult listening experience. So all in all, a really underwhelming track that I can't really recommend, as it really doesn't showcase anything that is better than anybody else currently working in the experimental genre today, a genre of which has very good and heavy competition right at the moment. So I gave it a G rating of 4 out of 10, which is kind of just below average, which is kind of unfortunate really. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.